בשם השם נעשה ונצליח, ברשות הרב. Thank you again for having me, for the Rav. Again, I can't stop emphasizing that everything you're going to learn today, you could have already learned 1,000 times over each week for the Rav Aaron Zev. May Hashem give us even just a little bit of the Torah that He has with Hashem. So today, first of all, thank you for coming. Today I'll talk a little bit about the first couple of verses in this week's Parashat Toldot, but then try to connect it to the situation we have in the world today. Today, we cannot live in illusion, we cannot live in denial, and pretend like everything's okay. Of course, we all live in America. For better or for worse, everything's okay here. Jews are allowed to practice Judaism. You're not worried about somebody stabbing you. Baruch Hashem. You're not worrying about somebody arresting you if you wear a kippah. You're not worried. But our brothers and sisters around the world, they can't stop worrying. Of course, there's been many stories in the past couple of months of how we're in messianic times. This is nothing really new. It's just that people are seeing things happening in front of their eyes. There was a story after Sukkot of a 15-year-old kid that had a near-death experience. Some people are doubting it. Some people agree with it. Whether he's right, whether he's wrong, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we can no longer live in denial and pretend like everything is okay. You don't have to believe in Judaism to realize that. If you notice, Syria is not exactly a place that has an abundance of oil or an abundance of anything, but yet you have World War III heating up in Syria right now. When Russia arrived in Syria, the first thing they sent was a ship full of atomic bombs. Now, if anyone wants to believe that they brought those atomic bombs to fight ISIS, you can live that dream. But the rest of us that have common sense obviously cannot believe that lie. You don't need atomic bombs to fight ISIS. After they brought the atomic bombs, they brought their soldiers. And after that, they needed some help, so they brought the biggest country in the world, China, to help them. As if it wasn't enough to fight ISIS. Russia wasn't enough, so they brought China. And after that, they brought the biggest terrorist in the world, North Korea. They're helping them too. And you're starting to see a movie that we've seen before. I remember when I was a kid, every time a movie started and there was a line in the beginning, I don't remember which one of the companies it was, I think it was United Arts, and every time the line was in the beginning, I saw this movie. I saw this movie. But again, this is not the lion. This is the world as we see it happening. And you can say, I've seen this movie. When do we see this movie? About 70 years ago. Actually, almost 80 years ago now. In the early 1930s, the United Kingdom had a leader by the name of Chamberlain. And Chamberlain believed in peace. He wanted world peace. He did not want to go to war. Even though there was a dictator by the name of Hitler in Machshimo, who was convinced that his way was good, Chamberlain chose to live in denial, ignore his leaders, ignore his advisors, and negotiate with the biggest terrorist the world has ever known. Little did he know that the final agreement that he made that started World War III, which was giving Czechoslovakia to Hitler without fighting, giving him half of Czechoslovakia without fighting, no fight. No, listen, we want peace. Take half of the country that's not ours. It's not our country, so take half of it. Just don't fight us. Don't fight anybody else. Okay. Little did he know that during the trials after World War II, the Nazis reported that the day of that agreement, all of the advisors of Hitler, all of the government members of Hitler, were considering impeaching him, considering throwing Hitler out. They were considering throwing Hitler out and maybe even killing him, because they thought that Hitler is bringing destruction to their country, Germany, so they're going to throw him out. But then this hero Chamberlain from the United Kingdom comes and gives him half of another country, so of course they're going to keep him there. What does this have to do with today? This is just a little bit of a hint of how Chazal explains to us that there are times that Hashem takes the bchira, takes the choice away from the leaders. We learned that Hashem took away the choice from Paro. Paro didn't really make the choices. After the first plague, he kind of got the hint. Okay, there's a power that's beyond me. But Hashem hardened his heart, and he didn't want to let go of Am Yisrael. And then we got the frogs, and he sent most of them to his house, and he still didn't get the point. Why? Because Hashem specifically made him choose to not let them go. Why? Because Hashem wanted to make more miracles, to show Israel in that day and Israel today that he's beyond all powers. So Hashem removed the choice that we all have from Paro. Just like Hashem removed the choice from Chamberlain. Just like Hashem removes the choice from all leaders. If you think that you need to be mad at Obama, or you need to be mad at Bibi Netanyahu, or any of these leaders, you're mistaken. Hashem is dictating every one of these positions. And it's all based on our choices. If we do what Hashem says, He already promised us He's going to give us a bracha. We don't do what He says, He promised us the klala. It's not one or nothing. He didn't say, I'm going to give you the bracha or nothing. He didn't say, I'm going to give you bracha or maybe chatzi bracha. Bracha veklala. It comes together. It's a package deal, 2 for 10. Like we said in the flea market in the old days, it came together. You only wanted to buy one, we'll give you the second one anyway. Comes together. The same thing that happened to Chamberlain, where he was about to win the war. He was about to win the war, but he made a foolish choice of giving a half of a country that's not his to this dictator, and that dictator obviously reneged on the deal. 6 months later, he conquered the entire country and used that as leverage to conquer Poland. And used that leverage to conquer pretty much almost the rest of Europe, and obviously we know the rest is history. Right now the same thing is happening. Right now the world is negotiating to give more of Israel. America is saying there should be a 2-state country, 2-state solution. Give it to a group of Arabs that call themselves Palestinians, even though there's no such thing as a Palestinian nation. It was just created in the last 50 or 60 years. Give it to them. Why? Because it makes peace. How did it make peace? We tried it in the history. It didn't make peace. Let's try again, like Chamberlain tried. It didn't make peace before during World War I. It didn't make peace in the beginning of World War II. Why is it going to make peace? No, let's try it. It's your country. Give more of it. It doesn't cost us anything. But if you told America, listen, give up half of New Jersey to Iran, maybe they'll stop building atomic bombs. They're not going to like it. Maybe give half of Egypt. Maybe give half of Russia. Maybe give half of some other country. No, nobody's going to want to do it. But give half of Israel. Everyone's arguing about it. Maybe it's the right choice. So, again, you don't need to be too smart to realize this is not people talking. This is not people. I mean, the world does not make sense for it to be people. People cannot be that foolish to really believe that it makes sense to give half of a country to a group of people that think it's a good mitzvah to go around, give children and women knives so they could kill other people. You don't need to be a genius. So you see that this is Hashem talking to us. During the end of times, Achrit Hayamim, Hashem has already told us that if the Mashiach doesn't come because all of Am Yisrael are tzaddikim, it's going to come from a different situation, not so pleasant. Right now we fit those times. Right now the world is boiling in such a way you can't ignore it, even if you don't want to believe in the Torah, even if you don't believe in all the prophecies, even if you don't want to believe all of these things that the sages have already said for a few thousand years. You have to pay attention to the news. 5 minutes, you read Masechet Sotah, page 49. Masechet Sotah, page 49, part of the Gemara, part of the Oral Torah, says exactly what's going to happen at the end of times. If you read the Masechet, which if you want, we'll have more time at the end of the Shiur, I can go over with you. It's like reading the newspaper. Mamash reading the newspaper. Of today, not 200 years ago, not 500 years, today. You read the newspaper today. From the faces of man looking like the faces of dogs, to the daughter-in-laws not getting along with the mother-in-laws, to the generation being a bunch of chutzpanim, people that have no respect. Last time I heard, this generation didn't exactly have much respect. Inflation being something that everybody has already gotten used to. The price of everything continues to go up. Last I checked, prices of everything was going up. When I was a kid, milk was $1.50. Right now I think what, it's $5, $6 for a gallon? It's more expensive than gasoline. Water is $3. I was in the airport today, I wanted to get water. I saw that the water was $4 at the airport, but Gatorade was $3. So the stuff they didn't do any work on is $4. The stuff they actually did they did some work. They put some sugar. They put some sugar in this water, made it blue, made it green, made it purple, and they want less money for it. How does it make sense? I don't know. But we go and we pay, like, we smile, thank you, here's $4, thank you very much, thank you. I remember one time I got pulled over, and my wife, God bless her, she said, tzadikah, it's not, I don't know how she does it. The guy's giving me a ticket. The police, Rasha that he is, gave me a ticket, a speeding ticket. I don't know, I drove 5 or 10 miles over the limit. I didn't obey the very sacred law of traffic. And the guy gives me a ticket. So, okay, ticket. What are you going to do? So I want the ticket. I want to go home now. She says, thank you, officer. What thank you? You just gave me a ticket. He just took my parnasah away, saying thank you. But it's a tzadikah. What are you going to do? That's how you say with Hashem. Hashem, you're supposed to say Baruch Hashem for the bracha and Baruch Hashem for the klala. Come together. Hashem gives you something good, you say Baruch Hashem. Hashem gives you something you think is bad, because it's not bad, but you think it's bad. You say Baruch Hashem. Why say Baruch Hashem for something bad? Because you think it's bad. It's not really bad. It's for your own benefit. One example is money. People in this generation, the ta'ava of this generation is money. Money. People spend their entire life chasing money. Money in Gemara is called damim, blood. Why? Because people spend their entire life chasing money. I know I've spent my share of my life doing it. And everybody here and everybody out there is doing the same thing. The beautiful part about the Gemara is it tells you a lot of nice secrets. It tells you since you're spending your life chasing money, that means if there's a decree in Shamayim for someone that did a big sin, Chilul Shabbat. Chilul Shabbat, you read it in the Torah 12 times. 12 times it says, Mot Yumat. 12 times it says in the Torah, someone Mechalel Shabbat doesn't deserve to live. Hashem doesn't want to kill everybody. He didn't bring you into this world to kill you. So he's going to do something else. He says, okay, I'm going to give him another chance. I like him. He's a nice guy. He's one of my children. She's one of my children. I love them. I know they could do it. I know they could do tshuva one day. I know they could do it. They have it in them because part of Hashem is in us. I know they could do it. So I don't want to kill them. But I have to do something because Hashem is emet. Hashem is truth. You can't not do anything. There's no such thing. Anyone that thinks that just because their grandfather was a tzaddik and they do nothing and somehow they're going to go to Gan Eden, you're living an illusion. It cannot be, because that would make Hashem a liar, chas v'shalom. You cannot not do mitzvot, not keep Shabbat, not keep Nida, not do tefillin, not do all the basic parts of Judaism. This is not extra. This is a very minimum requirement. You cannot not do it because your grandfather was a tzaddik, and his grandfather was also tzaddik, and maybe even your father was a tzaddik, and somehow you arrived there off of their schut. Doesn't exist. No one in history has ever gone to Gan Eden because their grandfather was a tzaddik. It's only based on our ma'asim, our mitzvot. We do mitzvot, we go to Gan Eden. We don't do mitzvot, we have a different place. So now, Hashem is telling us, there's no way, as much as I love you, as nice of a guy as you are, and as funny as you are, and all the wonderful things that you have about you, there's no way that I can put you in the same place as Moshe Rabbeinu, as Rabbi Akiva, as all of the tzaddikim, and you didn't keep Shabbat. Not possible. It would make me a liar. Moshe Rabbeinu is going to come to me, wait a minute, so you're telling me that I was a fool for keeping Shabbat? Rabbi Akiva comes, you're telling me I was a fool for doing tefillin? Rabbi Meir is coming, you're telling me I was a fool for learning Torah? The other one comes in, you're telling me I was a fool for doing everything else you said in Torah? This guy didn't keep anything, he's in the same place as me? How could it be? It's not possible. So anyone that's still living under this illusion that somehow I'm going to make it, you can't think that. You can't. That's making fun of Hashem. Chas v'shalom. So Hashem is doing all of these things, these difficulties for our benefit. Why for our benefit? Because He says, listen, he didn't do a mitzvah, he did an averah, he did a sin. That sin, according to my Torah, which cannot change, has never changed, and it will never change, this is a very, very big punishment. But I don't want to kill him. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take some money from him. But not $10. Not the $10 that you lose on the subway. Not the $50 that you lost in the slot machine. No, this is the 5,000, the 10,000, the 100,000, the 500, all relative to you. If you have 100,000, he could take 90. He could take even 100. If you have $1 million, he could take 900,000 or $1 million, or even put you in debt. Why? It's instead of your life. So if you knew you have $20 million in the bank and you have 1 day to live, would you pay the $20 million to buy more time? All $20 million. They say 1 day to live with $20 million or 70 years with zero. Who would want to live only 1 more day with $20 million? Nobody raising their hand, right? Okay, said Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Okay, we passed the test. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. So that's the thing we have to understand, is that when Hashem is giving us a gzerah, Hashem is giving us a decree, we think it's a punishment. But in reality, He's doing us a favor. He's doing us a big chesed. He's saying, you really owe me a big bill, but I'm going to give you more time. But you still have to pay the bill. You still have to pay the bill. So what do we got to do? We got to fix ourselves. We have to use this as an opportunity. We have to say, Baruch Hashem, that He gave me another chance. A lot of people don't get another chance. Hashem Hashem, how many people we hear about in the newspapers every day didn't get a second chance? We get a second chance every day. Every day you wake up, you thank Hashem that He gave you back the neshama. Why? Because He gave you a second chance. Every day is a second chance. Every day. You woke up in the morning, He gave you a second chance. What's the second chance? Second chance to do the same averah? Second chance to do the same sin? No. Second chance to fix. Every day you got to get better. We want to get better with everything else. We want to get better with our work. We want to get better in our marriage. We want to get better at our everything else in life. We want to get better. Why won't we get better at being better with Hashem? The control of all of these things. And this is one of the things that we can learn just from the first couple of psukim of this parasha. ואלה תולדות יצחק בן אברהם, אברהם הוליד את יצחק, ויהי יצחק בן 40 שנה בקחתו את רבקה, בת פתואל הארמי מפדן, ארם אחות לבן הארמי לא לאישה. And these are the offspring of Isaac, son of Avraham. Avraham begot Yitzchak. Yitzchak was 40 years old when he took Rebekah, Rivka, daughter of Betuel the Aramean, from Padan Aram, sister of Lavan the Aramean, as a wife for himself. Okay, first of all, to show you that nothing is new under the sun, why is this first pasuk saying these are the offspring of Isaac, the son of Avraham? Avraham begat Yitzchak. Avraham olided Yitzchak. Avraham, last I remember, didn't give birth. Sarah gave birth, not Avraham. So why did it say Avraham begat Yitzchak? Because back then, it wasn't too different than today. Back then, we also had clowns. You know, people that make fun of everything. You know, you try to do something good, and all of a sudden the guy's like, ha ha ha, about something completely irrelevant. It's a very, very big sin when you do it in Shiur Torah, just by the way. If sometimes you're around some people like that, you go to Shiur Torah, the rabbi is working 2 hours. He's trying to help everybody do tshuva, help everybody keep one thing, something, tefillin, I don't know, Shabbat, anything. He's trying to work really hard with every single person, 2 hours, and he's getting close with some people. All of a sudden, some joker says a joke about nothing. The entire 2 hours is complete waste. No more 2 hours. The entire 2 hours went in the garbage. Why? Because he made the whole thing. The guy with the joke that wanted to be funny, because he wanted people to hear him, all of the seriousness of the entire shiur is forgotten immediately. Why? Because he wanted somebody to hear him. He wanted some attention. He wanted to say a joke. So everybody left. Problem is, when he has to pay the bill, he's not going to laugh. Because all of those people that are going to continue doing averot and not do tshuva, it's on his cheshbon now. It's on him, for the joke. So it's very, very dangerous to say jokes. You have to, there's the right time and the right place. It's important to be funny. It's good to be funny, but there's the right time and there's the right place. You cannot make fun of things relating to Torah. That's just playing with fire. No, there's no point for it. But back then, we also had jokers. And those jokers said, listen, Avraham almost 100 years, 99 years, he didn't have a kid with Sarah. All of a sudden, Avimelech catches them. He takes his wife. Okay, he releases her the next day, or a few days later, or a few months later, doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, she gives birth. Maybe the son, maybe Yitzchak is from Avimelech, not from Avraham. So Avraham has this boy, he's been waiting for him for 100 years. 100 years he's waiting for this son, and everybody thinks he's a bastard. Everyone thinks he's somebody else's son. Chas v'shalom. Now Avraham, Hashem said, Avraham is going to be the leader of all the nations. I love Avraham. He didn't write a pasuk about me, I love Yaron. He said, I love Avraham. So you can't let his kavod, you can't let his whole personality to be defamed, his whole reputation to be destroyed. So what did he do? He made a miracle. Yitzchak's face was identical to Avraham. Exactly the same. You know how every son, when they're born, and as they grow up, they look like the father. Right? This wasn't a look-alike. This is exactly the same. Identical. So much so, because in those days, they didn't age. In those days, when Avraham was 100 years old, he looks the same as Yitzchak at 40 years old. They didn't age. Until Avraham prayed to Hashem and said, is it really right for an old man to look the same as a young man? I mean, people can't tell the difference. People would come up to Yitzchak, say, hey, listen, here's the money I owe you. You don't owe me any money. My father maybe. Father looked the same thing. Why? To make sure everybody knows he's his son. To make sure. To all those jokers, Hashem had an answer for them. So now, after this, it reminds us of something we already learned last week. It says, Rivka, the daughter of Betuel, sister of Lavan. All of it's telling us our history, our background again. We already learned it last week. What do we need to know who our father was, who our brother was? Maybe he's going to tell us who the cousins do. What do we care? We already learned it last week, twice. Of course, you learned from Rav Aaron that there's not an extra letter in the Torah, extra pasuk. Can't be. Can't be. This is to teach us what we exactly started the lecture with. Hashem is telling us, look at Rivka. Rivka is one of the foremothers, the matriarchs of Judaism. One of the most important people in history, from the beginning of the world to the end of the world. Rivka is one of the most important people in history. Tzadikah, modest. Can't get any better. What is he telling you? Her father, criminal. Murderer. Her mother, criminal. Worse. Her brother, Shemirachem. Criminal of criminals. He was such a criminal that the criminals were scared of him. Lavan, some people even say, some of Chazal say, that Lavan ended up becoming Bilam. Bilam was the Rasha prophet that went against the Am Yisrael, tried to destroy Am Yisrael, was the nemesis of Moshe Rabbeinu. Lavan was Rasha from beginning to end. Nothing good about him. So she has a Rasha father, a Rasha mother, brother. I don't know if Rasha is enough, but she's a tzadikah. So what excuse do we have? Oh no, Rabbi, my parents weren't religious when I grew up, so that's why I don't keep Shabbat. Oh, Rabbi, I didn't really go to a yeshiva when I was a kid, so that's why I don't do this. Oh no, Rabbi, my brother, he's a criminal, so it's a bad influence. Was your brother worse than Lavan? Was your father worse than Betuel? Even if he was, still don't have an excuse. And no one's expecting us to be Rivka, but at least be basic. Basic. So, one of the things we need to understand is that at times like this, when the world is boiling, the possibility of a war can happen at any minute. According to the Daily Times, I think it's called in England, about a month ago they came out with a headline: "We're 30 seconds away from World War III." They said it, not me. When you see all these things happening, we have to figure out, okay, Torah said this is going to happen. What else does the Torah say? Torah already said this is going to happen. World is boiling. A lot of problems. Okay, so what do? What, I just cry? I stop my life. I sit in my room all day and wait for the end. What do I do? What could I do? It's a very simple answer. Get closer to Hashem. That's it. All Hashem ever wanted from us, from the beginning of our creation until the end, is for us to get close to Him. To do what He says. That's it. Simple. But how do you get closer to Hashem? Somebody says, okay, wait a minute. I heard from some Baba that if I buy a red string, I'm closer to Hashem. Another guy said, listen, somebody said that if I read Tehillim once a month, I'm closer to Hashem. I don't have to keep anything else. I read Tehillim, but that's okay. Somebody else say, you do this, you do that. Okay, fine. All of those things, the string is not, but other things, there's many sgulot. There's many things that we've done throughout the generations. For 2,000 years that we've been in exile, we've been doing many, many things. There's prayers, there's special teaching, there's special different things you can do. But we also have to learn from experience. If for 2,000 years everything that we're doing hasn't brought the Mashiach yet, hasn't made the majority of Am Yisrael religious, hasn't made Am Yisrael suffer any less. I don't know, every Jew that I know has some form of suffering. Every Jew. Some health, some parnasah, some marriage, some children. Hashem Rachem, there's not enough suffering. Every Jew has suffering. Everyone has suffering. 2,000 years we're non-stop suffering. Some more, some less, but more. Everybody's suffering. So what does this say? So it's not working. What we're doing is not working. If you're still suffering, then it's not working. If you're not waking up in the morning and saying, oh, Baruch Hashem, what a great day. I can't believe Hashem gave me another chance. It's a yofi. If you're waking up, oh man, I can't believe it. Like I used to wake up. First word out of my mouth, Hashem Irachem. It was a curse word. I'm telling you, I can't say it. It was from the cow. It's Votchem. I'm telling you, first word out of my mouth every day was a curse word. I'm being honest with you. My brother's laughing, my mom is laughing because they heard me probably. First word, I'm telling you, instead of Modeh Ani for giving me back my neshama, I would curse. I'm telling you, without Torah, you could be a complete animal. So I'm no different than anybody else here. Most of this stuff is to remind me. One day I watch my videos, I remind myself. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know. But if you're waking up every day and you're suffering, if you have tsar in your life, you have mamash, misery in your heart, you're not happy with your life, you're worried, you don't have enough emunah, you don't have enough confidence that things will be okay, you're not really happy with the way things are going, there's only one solution. Connect to the source. Ask him to fix it. Ask him to fix it. You can't fix it. You tried 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 70 years, you're still miserable. So obviously you can't do it. 2,000 years, Am Yisrael is trying to fix it. They can't fix it. We're still suffering. People still hate us. Anti-Semitism in America is at an all-time high. We have over 40% of Americans do not like Jews. And I don't mean do not like Jews like, if I go to the bar and I see a Jew, I leave. No, not do not. Not that type of do not like. Do not like if there wasn't any Jews, I would be happier. That type of do not like. America, this is the place that we're happy here. So now, we're background music, Baruch Hashem. So now, we have a situation where everybody is suffering. And for 2,000 years, we're doing all of these gulot. For 2,000 years, we're doing a bracha over here, a bracha over here. We're doing whatever we can. Everybody says, I'm doing whatever I can. I'm doing as much as I can. You're still miserable? Yeah. Then you're not doing as much as you can. You're still unhappy? That means you're not doing as much as you can. Why? Because Hashem doesn't give you a test you're going to fail. He's only going to give you a test you can pass. He didn't bring you to this world to be miserable. He brought you here to pass a test. If you're still miserable, that means you haven't done enough. Can't tell me, oh no, I'm doing as much as I can. No. Hashem gave you a solution of how to live a successful life. So how do we get to a point of connecting with the source so we can be happy? The solution is going to surprise you. Because it's the one solution no one wants to talk about. And I'm not talking about generally everyone, but the majority of people do not want to talk about it. The solution is the one main thing that you have to do. In order to connect to Hashem, you have to do it. In order to be a righteous Jew, you have to do it. In order to succeed in any level of Kedusha, you have to do it. But nobody wants to do it. So much so, nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to talk about it. Some people don't even want to come to my shiurim because I talk about it. Some people don't want to go to other rabbis' shiurim because they talk about it. Anyone know what the answer is? I'll save you some time. We don't have that much time, so I'll save you some time. Fear of Hashem. Yirat Shamayim. Yirat Shamayim, fear of Hashem, is a prerequisite in order for you to believe in Hashem. So everybody says, no, I love Hashem. No, you don't. You cannot love Hashem without fearing Him first. It's impossible. You could tell me no. Okay, so I'll prove it to you with verses. Why? Because Hashem gave us instructions. He gave us instructions of how to get to a point of being like Avraham Avinu. Everyone knows Avraham Avinu, right? Even if you don't know Judaism, you know who Avraham Avinu is, right? Avraham Avinu, the sages tell us, Avraham Avinu had 10 tests. 10 big tests. But there's 2 different lists. And they're not the same, which means he had more than 10 tests. Each test, none of us could pass. I guarantee it. Any one of you, say, listen, take your kid and give him as an offering, as a korban for Hashem. I don't think you're going to do it. Maybe the Muslims, but not the Jews. Avraham Avinu passed many, many tests. Hashem said He loved him. But after the test of the Akedah that we learned about 2 weeks ago, he reached the ultimate point. How do we know he reached the ultimate point? Because after that, you no longer see the conversations, the dialogue between Hashem and Avraham. They continued talking because Avraham continued living. But we don't know what they talked about. Why? Because Avraham reached the ultimate point. There was nothing else we can learn from him because he was already too high of a level. He reached what we call the zenith. The highest level he could possibly reach. Who doesn't want to be like Avraham Avinu? I want to be like Avraham Avinu. I want to be like a shoe, maybe. Anything. Right? So how does Hashem describe that Avraham reached the ultimate level? This is right after the Akedah, right after the offering of Yitzchak that Hashem stopped, obviously. This is what Hashem says. Vayomer Avraham, Avraham. Vayomer Hineni. So Hashem is saying, Avraham, Avraham, He's calling him twice. He says, here I am. Vayomer al tishlach yadecha el anar, ve'al ta'as lo me'uma. Ki ata yadati, ki yireh Elohim ata. Verse continues, but this gets to the point. An angel of Hashem called him from heaven and said, Avraham, Avraham. And he said, here I am. And he said, do not stretch out your hand against the lad, meaning Yitzchak, nor do anything to him for now. For now I know that you are a God-fearing man. Now I know. The other 10 tests I didn't know yet. This is not the first test. This is the last test. This is the ultimate level. This is the final level. When we were little kids, we played video games. Everybody wants to get to the final level. You play Mario Brother for 3 months, so you want to get to the final level. Avraham got to the final level. He gets to the final level. He passes the test. And Hashem says to him, now I know. Now, not before. Not the other tests. That they stole your wife, they kidnapped your wife twice, lost money, lost your father, countless tests. Brit Milah at 99. Brit Milah, do it for yourself and for everybody else. Go in the middle of Gaza, tell everybody, listen, you got to do Brit Milah. See if you survive the hour. Not for yourself, for everybody else. Hey guys, everybody here, I need to do a Brit Milah for you. Nobody to kill you. He had to do Brit Milah, not just for himself, for everybody. He passed that test. Now Hashem told him, listen, give me your son as an offering. He says, okay. He does it early in the morning. He runs to do it. And Yitzchak is running with him. He says, now I know that you fear Hashem. Now. This is the ultimate level. Ultimate level, final level. You beat the game. So when somebody tells you, no, why are you so scary? You're learning so many things that are scary. Mashiach, and punishment, and Shabbat, and this and that. What do you mean it's scary? This is more than 50% of the Torah. Hashem didn't write a Torah just for you to have a nice story like Harry Potter. He says, listen, there's a deen, there's a dayan. There's good, and there's not good. If you do the good, you have no problems. What are you worried about? If you're doing everything that you can, if you really are doing everything you can, you should be giving the shiur. You should be giving the shiur to all of Am Yisrael. Not that I'm doing everything good, but I'm learning. Hopefully I'm helping myself. The key here is that someone that's trying to get to a point where he says, listen, I don't want to fear Hashem. I want to love Him. I want to connect to Hashem through love. Unfortunately, it's not possible. The next verse tells us that it's not possible. After Am Yisrael received all of the miracles in Egypt, there's miracle after miracle. Every day there was a miracle. The 10 plagues was not one time, wasn't a week. It was a whole year. Every day was a miracle. More frogs, more blood, more ice that's full of lava, which physically is not possible, is only hitting the goyim. It's coming from the Shamayim. The Jew is here. The Egyptian is here. Jew walks around, no problem, running around. Egyptian standing scared, hits him, dies. The Jew, nothing. The Jew is sitting home, he's having a nice kiddush, he's having a meal with his family, has nothing to worry about. Hashem is killing all of the firstborn sons of the Egyptians, even the animals. Even if the firstborn didn't live there, you would kill the firstborn that was living there. There was no way you could escape it. Jews, nothing. Everything is okay. So they see a year full of miracles. After that, for the first and last time in history, a conquered nation defeats their conqueror. If anybody has paid attention to history, this has never happened before and never will happen again. The only time the slaves have ever beat their master and left is Am Yisrael. It never happened. Yes, some people ran away, but it wasn't the entire people. Yeah, a few black slaves escaped the evil people that were their masters, but not the entire people. A few people from Africa left their psychotic people that were dictators there and in Syria and in everywhere else around the world, but not the entire people, not the entire nation. Only Am Yisrael in history, first and last time. The slave became the master. It's a miracle we don't think about. So after we leave, we take all the money. Not only we leave, we don't just leave. We take all the money too. So all of us are millionaires. Everybody's a millionaire. Nobody's poor. Nobody's begging for change. Nobody has to work, ever. Everybody has money. So imagine you were a slave. Every day, they beat you up every day. Now today you're a millionaire. And he works for you. He wants to convert to Judaism. When did that happen? So you leave. You get to the ocean. You see, how are we going to pass? How are we going to pass this ocean? Hashem says, don't worry. Split the ocean into 12. According to the Rambam, it wasn't like in the movie that was made, I think, 40, 50 years ago with Moshe, where it was split into 2. Yeah. According to the Rambam, it was actually 12. One for each tribe. And it was actually a half a circle. So they went from one side and they came back to the same side. There's a picture the Rambam drew to show it. Anyway, he splits the ocean. Another miracle. Even if it's once, it's another miracle, right? It's a good miracle. I want to see the ocean split. This wasn't the last time, by the way. It happened again. The Jordan River. When Joshua brought Am Yisrael into Israel, he had to split the sea again. This wasn't the last time. Also the Tzaddikim and the Gemara also split. But anyway, point is, big miracle. After this miracle and the other miracles, this is what it says. וירא ישראל את היד הגדולה אשר עשה אדוני במצרים, ויראו העם את אדוני, ויאמינו באדוני ובמשה עבדו. Israel saw the great hand that Hashem inflicted upon Egypt. Finally they realized. It took them a while. This is after we crossed the sea. And the people feared Hashem. And they had faith in Hashem, and in Moses' servant. Wait, so they feared him, and then they had faith. Not they had faith, and then feared. First, Yir'u, v'achar kach ya'aminu. That means that without fearing, there's no way you can believe in him. To love him is bichlal. In order to love Hashem, first you have to recognize that he even exists. And if you're not afraid of Hashem, you have to question whether you really believe in him. You have to question, do I really believe in Hashem? Do I really believe in God? Why? Okay, think about it for a second. Right now in your body, there's something called a protein fold. Protein fold. In order for your body to function the way it's functioning, and for you not to have any disease, chas v'shalom, for you not to have a cold, for you to be able to walk, to see, to operate, every one of the proteins has to fold exactly the right way. It cannot, if it's supposed to fold this way, it cannot fold this way. It cannot fold the opposite way. It cannot fold, it has to be exactly the same. Perfect. Every one of them. There are trillions and trillions and trillions of proteins in your body. Trillion. There's not enough numbers in the world to calculate how many proteins you have. And every one of them has to fold the right way. If one does not fold the right way, that's where disease is. Can't see, can't walk, can't breathe, can't pump blood. One. I'm not talking about all of them. I'm not talking 20% or 10%. One. Just one. Out of the trillions and trillions, one of them doesn't fold. It was lazy. He didn't fold the whole way. He laid, it's like us in the morning. We want to go to Shachrit. Oh no, 6 o'clock in the morning? Nah, let me sleep till 6:30. Like us, lazy. So he didn't want to fold the whole way. He's like, you fold halfway. Fold a little bit. Can't see. Another one, can't walk. Another one, can't live. Just one. Same one, he's in control of that too. There was a scientist that tried to figure out what is the statistics, what is the possibility of calculating the chances, the likelihood of every single protein folding the right way. Just calculating it. So he started running the computer, and then he realized that to calculate it would take 10 to the 127th power of years just to calculate it, which means an infinite amount of years, trillions of years, just to figure it out, not to do it, to figure it out. The answer of what's the chances of it happening, to figure it out would take trillions of years if the computer worked 24 hours a day. To figure it out. And you're walking around, no one has a problem here with seeing, walking, Baruch Hashem, everything is good. No, Hashem's not doing any miracles. How come Hashem doesn't split the sea like Moshe Rabbeinu? How come Hashem doesn't show me himself? How come Hashem is not doing any miracles for me? I go to Beit Knesset twice a week. Why is no miracles for me? I read Tehillim last week. How come he doesn't give me this deal? That's what I thought when I first started learning a little bit. I honestly believed that. It's good to make fun of yourself sometimes, because I know that some of you have this issue also. Somebody who's watching has to have this issue. I honestly thought, when I first started learning, I honestly thought that Hashem was going to talk to me. I'm dead serious. I'm not joking. I was reading nonstop. It was nonstop. I was really reading Tehillim and this and that. And I'm like, it's got to be. What page is Hashem going to talk to me? What page? I read this Tehillim 1 time and 2 times and 3 times and 4 times. I know it I know this. Oh, when is Hashem going to talk to me? You Hashem. Well, okay, another time when I read it. When is Hashem going to talk to me? I honestly thought Hashem was going to talk to me. I thought it was going to be like little Moshe Rabbeinu. He's going to talk to me, not through I don't have any bushes in my house. He's going to talk to me through, send me an email. Send me a text. Yaron, hi, I'm Hashem. I don't know, something. I don't know. I thought that's what's going to happen. Everybody thinks that Hashem's going to talk to them. Little did I know that He's already talking to me. Just not the way that I was paying attention to. The fact that you're walking and seeing and functioning gives you the ability to pay attention. If you pay attention to the details, you see miracles everywhere. The fact that you're able to sit here, enjoy a Shiur Torah B'ezrat Hashem, and understand some of what we're talking about, by itself is a miracle. The fact that you're a part of a nation that's the chosen people, even the Goyim call us the chosen people, was 15 million of us, 13 million of us, 20 million of us. There's not that many of us. I think the highest estimate by the Jews is maybe 20 million. According to the Goyim, there's 3 billion, but because we're everywhere. We're 25% of the Nobel Prize winners are Jews. 25%. 25% of Nobel Prize winners, Jews. Leaders of the world, Jews. Whether it's the Federal Reserve, governments, money, this, that, everything. Okay, we're not the best at sports, but we own the teams.
Yeah.
So the Goyim think there's 3 billion of us, but there isn't. There's maybe let's say 15 million. So think about it. Now there's 7.5 billion people in the world. Which means that 15 million is not even a rounding error. Because you say it's not exactly 7.5. It's probably 7.48 or 7.46 billion, or maybe even 7.53. But they said, who cares about the 3? Just put 7.5. It's a nice round number. Mechubad. So 15 million is not even a mistake. You just go, 15 million. You're part of those people. You are part of those people. And everyone in the world knows, even the ones that hate us, that you're chosen. You're part of the chosen people. So what do you think? You'll be chosen with no responsibility? Was there ever a king in history that had no responsibility? Was there ever even a government member in Congress? They said, hey, listen, we're going to give you a job. You get $200,000. Don't come to work though. You don't have to do anything. Oh, we're going to make you the CEO of this company. Yeah, we're going to make you the CEO of Apple. It's a $500 billion company. But you don't have to come to work. Just stay home. Sleep. CEO. CEO has to work more than everybody. So you're the CEO. But you tell me, no, it's too much for me. Yes, Shabbat, too much. Kashrut, come on, at home it's kasher. But I like to go to Z. It's nice atmosphere. They make good pasta. It's not kosher, but it's not meat. Do you know how much pig is in that cheese? Cheese, just so you know, well, it's not kosher cheese. Well, it's not kosher cheese. If anybody doesn't know, Rav Zev, of course, knows because he deals with kashrut. You could ask him a million questions about kashrut. I only know 1%. But I can tell you about kashrut, cheese, the number one ingredient that makes cheese different, you could see it for yourself. Go to the supermarket. You have kosher section, you have taref section. Kosher section, 4 cheeses. 4 different types of cheeses. That's it. 4, 3, 5. That's it. Non-kosher, 80. What, they're that much better than us? Chalab Yisrael is the number 1 in the world. Everybody knows that Chalab Yisrael, the milk of Israel, is better than everybody else. How is it that we have 4 types, they have 80? Why? They use more ingredients. What's the number 1 ingredient? Animals. The stomach fat of a pig. Stomach lining. So the pasta with a little bit of cheese, it's ta'im, nachon? It's because you have pig in it too. So not only is it a violation of non-kosher chalav, it's chalav and basar. It's milk and meat. Enjoy. Sounds delicious? Doesn't sound delicious. Why? Because we know now. We know. Can't eat cheese. Can't eat these things. Why is it not kosher? There's a reason. So then we ask Hashem, how come you don't make a miracle for me? Oh, because you eat chazir every day. What do you want a miracle? You say, Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem, Birkat HaMazon on the chazir? No, I can't do that. So how do we get to a point of fearing Hashem? Hashem is telling us that in order for us to love Him, first we have to fear Him. There's a wonderful book that all of you should read at least 100 times, just like the sages have told us that it's that good of a book. It's half the size, because this is English and Hebrew, one side Hebrew, one side English. It's called Mesilat Yesharim, Path of the Just. You need to read it 100 times. Once is good, 2 is better. Why 100 times? Because every time you're going to read it, you're going to learn something new. It's that good. I believe it was the Vilna Gaon. When he read this book, he read the first 13 chapters. I'll show you a picture of the book. You can read. Path of the Just. It was written by the Ramchal, Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto. Italian. So Rabbi Chaim Moshe Luzzatto, he was something special. Mamash, something special. You read this book, just from the introduction to this book, you realize how special he was. Just from the introduction, I'll tell you about it in a second. Bezrat Hashem, Bli Neder, we're going to start doing a series about Mesilat Yesharim, Bezrat Hashem. So I'm going to send the videos. Anybody who wants to follow me on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, all these things, I have videos online. So Bezrat Hashem, I'm going to start doing a series about this book, going over every single chapter of this book. But to give you a little bit of an understanding of this book, when Vilna Gaon read this book, the first 13 chapters, is 26 chapters, so the first half of the book, he stopped and he told all of his Talmidim, okay, we're going. Where are we going, Kvod Harav? We're going to meet this tzaddik, the Ramchal. Oh, Kvod Harav, we're sorry, he died. He died recently. The Vilna Gaon, anybody knows a little bit of Torah, knows Vilna Gaon. There's a small chance that I'm making a mistake, it may be an Ari, but I think it's Vilna Gaon if I'm not mistaken. Vilna Gaon really got into tzar, Mamash was really, really in sorrow and pain that this happened. He doesn't know him, he never met him before. It's not like they had a Facebook connection. They knew each other from school. They didn't know each other. He read the book, he says, why, Kvod Harav, why, what's the big deal? You read the book, you read a lot of books. You read this small little book. He says he did not waste one letter in this book. One letter. What's the only other book that did not waste one letter? Torah. Torah doesn't have one extra letter. This giant sage, one of the most important people in history, is saying, he's comparing the first 13 chapters of this book to the Torah. The Avdil, of course, it's Torah. The Torah is the only thing that's divine. But the point is that he is seeing the Gdula of this book. What's the beauty of this book? It's very, very simple. Anyone can read it. Very, very simple. Why? Because the issues that he talks about are very simple. It's about midot, characteristics. How to become a better person. That's it. No, there's no mystical, listen, if you go 3 times to the right and 3 times to the left and jump and shower and this and that and maybe you're going to fly. No, none of this stuff. You just, Tieh ben Adam. How to be a good person. But not a good person like we think good person. Good person with an intention of good by the definition of Hashem Yitbarach. What's the definition of good? So Ramchal had a very, very difficult life to say the least. He already knew an enormous amount of Torah. By the time he was 18, he was already teaching the type of Kabbalah that in today's world I don't think exists. Maybe it does, but it's very minimal in comparison. Kabbalah Ma'asit, that's something very, very high. He knew things that no one in his generation knew. And they thought that that's not normal. Maybe he's using witchcraft. They didn't see that it's not normal for an 18-year-old to be teaching these things. So they thought, they didn't give him kaf zchut. They thought the opposite. They thought he was a rasha. So they told him, stop. Of course, he's not going to stop teaching the Torah of Hashem. So they started beating him up. And they threw him in jail. And then they embarrassed him. How did they embarrass him? Today, you embarrass somebody, what do you say? You call him a name. Say, oh, you were ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, right? No, they didn't do that back then. They took a pot of urine and feces and poured it on him in public. After they beat him up. This is tzaddik. What did he do? He continued. He continued and continued and continued. And he wrote one of the most important books about Musar that we have today. He wrote over 100 books, but most of them were burned. We only have a few of his books. This one, I believe, is the most famous, and it's arguably the most important Musar book that we have today. And it's a very, very small book, as I said. It's about half the size, because this is English and Hebrew, one side English, one side Hebrew. Even if your first language is English, you should still get the English Hebrew, because you could learn the Hebrew words. If your first language is Hebrew, you should try to get something that has pirushim, like has a little bit of interpretations. Don't try to interpret things just by your own understanding. But most of it you could understand. Now, he only lived, I believe it was either 38 or 40 years. For the Rav, 38 years or 40 years? Ramchal. 38 or 40? 38, I think it was 38 years. So he lived a very, very short life. And he accomplished enough in his short life than all of us put together probably couldn't do in an entire life. So now, the Ramchal starts this book in an amazing way. He teaches us rule number 1 of how to connect to Hashem. This is not even in the book, this is the introduction to the book. He's telling you about the book. אמר המחבר, החיבור הזה לא חיברתי ללמד לבני האדם את אשר לא ידעו, אלא להזכירם את הידוע להם כבר ומפורסם אצלם פרסום גדול. The author says, he says, I have written this book not to teach people what they do not know, but rather to remind them of what they already know and clearly understand. Pretty much he's telling us, I didn't bring any chidushim here. I don't know anything. Everything you already know, I'm just reminding you. In reality, it's all chidushim. But he's teaching us rule number 1 of connecting with Hashem. Your pride has to be thrown in the garbage. No pride. You have pride, you cannot connect to Hashem. You have gava, you cannot have a relationship with Hashem. It's one of the things that Hashem hates, despises. Hashem says, it's in the Gemara, it's in many, many books, it's something that he despises. Someone that has gava, he cannot stand him, he cannot be in the same room as him. So Ramchal is telling you, no, I don't know anything special. It's only you. You don't already know anything. I'm just reminding you what you already know. In chapter 3, obviously we're not going to go over the entire book. We only have a little bit of time left. In chapter 3, he talks about what we've been talking about throughout the night. The element of vigilance. 2 methods are necessary for one who wishes to oversee his conduct. On the one hand, he must ponder what constitutes the true good that a person should choose and the true evil that he should flee from. On the other hand, he must see if his own deeds are good or evil. This applies both to deeds at the time of their performance and to deeds performed in the past. This is in essence the definition of Yirat Shamayim. This is in essence what Yirat Shamayim means, what fear of Hashem means. Someone that's scared of Hashem, I'm not saying scared like boogeyman, like when you were a little kid you were scared there's a monster under your bed. I'm not saying scared that you say, listen, if I curse this guy, Hashem's going to kill me right now. No, not that kind of scared. Scared where you're really considering his desires before your desires. What he wants before what you want. Before you make any move. Before I charge this customer an extra 20% that I'm really not entitled to. before I put on the mini skirt, before I smoke a cigarette on Shabbat, before I skip mincha because it's not really important, because shachrit I heard is a big skula. Whatever rules people make up. People make up a lot of rules today. So, just rules for, people make a lot of skula for this, skula for that. Is it skula for Shabbat? Oh, no, I don't know if Shabbat. No. Let's do skula for various strings. People make up a lot of things. So before we fool ourselves with all of these things, there's one big skula. Yirat Shamayim. You fear Hashem, you're already on the path to being righteous. You fear Hashem, your entire life changes. Why? Because if you fear Hashem, you're thinking about Him all the time, automatically. Can I charge this guy? It's really not right that I should charge him this much. Should I take interest from this guy? I really shouldn't, because it's not allowed. According to Torah, you're not allowed to charge interest to Jews. You come back in a gilgul. It's a problem. Should I turn on the TV on Shabbat because there's a good game on? It's not a good idea. Well, maybe if I should just leave it on. It's not considered Chilul Shabbat. It's Chilul the Oneg, but it's not Chilul Shabbat. Maybe I should do that. Everybody does all these different things. So if someone has Yirat Shamayim, they're going to think about, what does Hashem think about what I'm doing? What does Hashem think about me turning on the TV? What does Hashem think about me watching some game where a bunch of overgrown people are throwing a ball instead of learning maybe a Shiur Torah for a half hour? For the game, I have 3 hours. Shiur Torah with Rabbi Zev, I don't have time today. I'm very busy. What busy? You watched a baseball game for 3 hours. You can't come 15 minutes shiur. Someone has Yirat Shamayim thinks about this. Thinks about, what does Hashem think about the baseball game? What does Hashem think about the basketball game? What does Hashem think about me going to the mall and buying more mini dresses? So what he's telling you here is that someone that's trying to develop Yirat Shamayim is going to consider all of his actions, but not just the ones that he's doing that are good. A lot of us, it's like, oh, listen, I don't do all of this, but I give tzedakah. I don't do da-da-da-da-da-da, but I'm a nice person. I don't do all of these things, but I did my friend a favor 3 years ago and helped his business. I don't do all of this, but my grandfather was a tzaddik. You know how many times I heard that? You'd be surprised. Everybody's grandfather was a tzaddik. Everybody's grandfather. Maybe they were. In the last generation, it's possible everybody's grandfather was a tzaddik. But how does it help you? If anything, it hurts you, by the way. Just anybody knows. Bemet, nutzinut. A lot of people say, no, my grandfather was a tzaddik. Okay, what about you? No, it's hard for me to keep Shabbat. It's hard for me to do tefillin every day. I do it 3 times a week. So just to let you know, your grandfather being a tzaddik is a problem for you. It's not a good thing for you. Why? Because when you go up there, you're going to be an embarrassment for him. He's going to be embarrassed of you. You're going to want to come, hey, Saba. Rasha, you didn't do tefillin, you didn't do this. Don't hang out with me. I don't want to be next to you. Your neshama has all these spots in it for all the sins. He's a tzaddik. You should have learned from the tzaddik, not took advantage thinking that you could do it. So he's telling you here, don't just think about all the good things you're doing. Okay, the good is good. Baruch Hashem, good, you're doing good things. Think about the bad things you're doing. What does Hashem think about the bad things you're doing? If you're doing 5 good things, you give tzedakah, you help some people out from time to time, you eat kosher at home and outside, you keep Shabbat. Good, Baruch Hashem, you're doing some good things. But if you walk around half naked in the streets, that's a problem. Why? Because the machti darabim, you're making other people sin. And that's a bad sin. It's a problem. Okay, so you're doing a lot of good mitzvot. But a woman that walks around not modest, she creates a problem. She's making millions of sins every second that she's outside. Because all of the guys that are thinking about her, because she's outside half naked, or chas v'shalom, she comes to the Beit Knesset that way. I don't know, some people for some reason think the Beit Knesset turned into a club. They come with gufiyot, they come with tank tops to the Beit Knesset. And the dresses, they went to their prom. So they come to the Beit Knesset like this, or they go somewhere else, and all the guys look at her. So all the guys, they're not thinking, oh, she's such a nice person. Oh, she's such a lovely person. I remember one day I saw her give money to a homeless guy. What a nice lady. They're not thinking that. You know what they're really thinking? I wish my wife was like that. The dumbest thing a woman can do is tell her husband to watch TV. Why? Why is the dumbest thing that a woman can do tell her husband to watch TV? No, honey, go watch TV. Go watch the show, honey. Go. Why? Why is it the stupidest thing in the world? For a woman, not for a man. Man is already a Shiur Torah. He doesn't know what he's doing. A woman has de'ah, like Rabbi told us right now. A woman is smarter than the man. So why is it stupid for a woman to say to, oh no, honey, go watch TV. Go watch the show. You have a show? Go. With your friends, go with the show. Go. Why? What's on TV? Ugly people? Last time I watched TV, it's been a long time, Baruch Hashem. Nobody ugly. Everyone's pretty. Everyone's perfect. The prettiest people on earth are on TV. There's nobody ugly. Even the ugly people, they try to make them ugly, they're still better looking than us.
Besides the news.
The news? Who watches the news, B'chlan? We watch the action. After the guys throwing the ball, we watch the shows. The shows is full of women. Everybody's pretty. So the husband's like, oh, what a good show. Yeah, you see the show. He killed him. Wow. He's not going to care about he killed him. He's looking at the girl that's half naked. And what is he doing? What is he doing when he's looking at the girl that's half naked? This is what he's doing. I'll tell you what he's doing. He's watching TV. And he's looking at his wife in the kitchen with the shmata on her. She's not wearing a dress. She looks like she just woke up 2 minutes ago with the stuff in her eyes and the training. She's not exactly at her best, like he remembers her 30 years ago. And he's looking at this one over here, half naked with the makeup and the hair and the this and the that. He's like, this is what he's doing. This is what he's doing. It doesn't even have to say words. HaShaem, he's saying, Hashem, why'd you do this to me? How come I can't have this? So he's comparing now. He's comparing the girl on TV to you. He's comparing. He's saying, I could have had that. Every guy thinks that he can get every girl, by the way. Every guy thinks he can get every girl. Every guy thinks he's a stud. He's perfect. He's everything. I could go, 2 seconds I can get her. For me, what do you mean? She would come to me already. I don't have to chase her. She comes to me. So what happens? What happens, ladies? He's looking at her. He's looking at you. It's not the same. So now you have a problem in your house. Now you have a shlom bayit problem. Now you have a shlom bayit problem and you created it. Not him. It's not his fault. It's not his fault. It's your fault. So he's looking at her. You told him go watch TV. Go watch TV, honey. Please. Just leave me alone already. Leave me alone. Go watch TV. Yeah. I love you. Yes, go away. Watch TV. You have a problem. So the guy is thinking about other women. Hashem HaShaem, in our generation, it's even worse. Guys are being taught by psychiatrists, professionals. They have degrees. Anyone that has a degree, everybody thinks whatever comes out of his mouth is a kadosh. He has a degree, that means everything he says is right. Rabbi has knowledge of the Torah, it's a rabbi, big deal. Somebody has PhD after their name, this guy is professional. Little do we know that the biggest mistakes in history have been done by the people that have the most amount of degrees. Stupid people do not make mistakes that matter. Someone that's stupid doesn't have a degree. If he doesn't have a degree, he doesn't become the president of the United States. He doesn't become the lead scientist of NASA. He doesn't become the lead scientist that created an atomic bomb for Russia. He's the guy that's cleaning the bathroom for the guy that made the atomic bomb. So when the guys in Russia destroyed a city, it wasn't a stupid guy that made the mistake. It was the smart guy. The smartest guys in the world. It wasn't the stupid people that ignored the threats from Islam about September 11th. It was the smartest people in the world. They just made a mistake. So now, when a PhD today, psychiatrist, there's new advice. He tells couples, step number 1. If you're having marriage problems, having part of marriage is intimacy. Right? You have to be intimate. If there's no intimate, there's no marriage. This is according to Torah, not today. Torah says there's no intimate, there's no marriage. This is part of the 2 major duties that a woman has. Obviously, a man has other duties, but the point is intimacy is very important. So now, the psychiatrist with the degrees, he says, listen, you're not attracted to your wife? Okay, think about a different woman. Watch a movie. And think about somebody else instead of your wife. Maybe it'll make it easier. Now, in the old days, during the days of the Gemara, during the days of Beit HaMikdash, somebody like that would get skila, would get a death penalty for saying something stupid like this. But today he gets an award. Maybe a Nobel Prize soon. He gets a degree to tell him, go think about somebody else. I have the psychiatrists that are more advanced, that they are the psychiatrist for the elite, for the celebrities. Celebrities, you see them on TV, those same people we watched on TV, they're psychiatrists. You know what this says to them? Maybe sometimes you should switch. You give your friend your wife, he gives you his wife, and that way it makes a better marriage. For who, I don't know. But this is legitimate advice. I'm not making this up. I'm telling you, this is legitimate advice. This is what the secular world is advising people. But they get awards, they get wealth, because the Yetzer Hara has a lot of money. But the rabbi that's trying to teach you what the sages already knew 3,000 years ago, because they got it from HaShem. No, I don't have time for him. It's 15 minutes. Shiur, 15 minutes? Make it 5 minutes. Maybe I'm going to come. So when a woman tells her husband, listen, do me a favor. Go watch TV. Leave me alone. Really what she's doing is she's taking a bomb and she's putting it in a box that's called her marriage. And little by little it's going to destroy more parts. This is what a woman is. So this is your responsibility. Men have to decide, do I want to stay married to the same woman? If you do, you should spend less time watching TV. To finalize everything and sum it up, as far as the subject of Yirat Shamayim, there's a few other verses that are very, very interesting. Sometimes people think that the Torah is a storybook. It has interesting stories. I want to hear stories, Rabbi. I don't want to hear about halachot. I don't want to hear about laws. I don't want to hear about bad things. I want to hear nice stories of different mystical things. Okay. The Gemara Masechet Sotah says, why was David, page 35, why was David punished? David HaMelech. David HaMelech was a major tzaddik. Kodesh Kodashim. Tehillim. David HaMelech. You read everybody, even the Goyim read Tehillim. David HaMelech, all he ever wanted was to be with Hashem. That's it. He says all of the kings are talking about nonsense, and all I want is to publicize your name. I don't care what they think. He even said something that I'm going to finish the shiur with, which you read in the prayer every day. Uva leTzion goel leshaveh pesha b'Yaakov. Neum Adonai. We'll go over the meaning of that verse at the end. But David HaMelech, all he wanted was to be connected to Hashem. But he got punished. Why did he get punished? Because he called the Torah mizmorim. Like songs. He called it songs. Meaning to beautify it. It's beautiful. It's songs. I sing the Torah. This is someone that's appreciating the Torah. This is something, the Torah is so beautiful. It's like songs. This is David HaMelech. מפני מה נענש דוד? מפני שקרא לדברי תורה זמירות. Why was David punished? Because he called the words of Torah songs. For in David's Psalms, the Tehillim, it is stated, your statutes were as songs to me, in my dwelling of fear. This is Tehillim 119, verse 54. Hashem responded, words of Torah about which is written, close your eyes to it, and it is gone. You call them songs? He's telling them, Torah, if you just stop learning for 2 days, you forget an enormous amount of Torah. You can forget your entire Torah if you don't learn every day. You think that something like this is a song? That you can remember, it doesn't matter even if you didn't sing it for 10 years? You're calling my Torah songs? He got punished for this. So us, we don't even want to learn Torah. Forget songs. We don't even think it's a song. We think it's a story. We think it's Harry Potter, Torah, same thing. When I have time for Harry Potter, maybe I'll finish Harry Potter, then I'll go to the Torah. Sefer HaIkarim by Rabbi Yosef Albo says, our faith in God rests on 3 foundations. 1, the belief in God who controls and manages the affairs of the world. Obviously, if you don't believe in that, the rest of them don't matter. 2, the belief that the Torah is divine. And 3, that there's reward and punishment. So anyone that tells you, I don't want to learn about the punishment, I only want to learn about the reward, they want to learn a different religion. David HaMelech wrote 2 things, and then that David HaMelech was trying to reach something significant. He was trying to become the 4th leg of Hashem's chair, Kivyachol. He wanted to reach the ultimate level. Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and he wanted David to be there. So you could say, he knew what he was doing. If he knew that he had an opportunity, which he eventually did get there, to become the 4th pillar, he knew what he was doing, so we should listen to him, right? So he's giving us some advice. In Tehillim, Kuf Yud Bet, that's 112, first verse. Hallelujah, Ashrei ish yireh et Hashem, b'mitzvotav chafetz meod. Hallelujah, happy is the man who fears the eternal, whose commandments he greatly desires. He doesn't say, praised is the man who loves Hashem. He doesn't say, praised is the man who does sgulot. He doesn't say, praised is the man who gives money to the homeless. He doesn't say that. He's saying, praised is the man, meaning that he's even jealous of him. Who? Who fears Hashem. Praised is he. Him? Wow. David HaMelech is saying, you fear Hashem? Wow. Tehillim Kuf Chaf Chet, Shir HaMa'alot, Ashrei Kol Yirei Hashem, Ha'olech B'drachav. A song for the temple, for the temple steps. Happy is everyone who fears the Eternal, who walks in His ways. Now, if you noticed, both of these verses in essence mean the same thing. They're different words, but they mean the same thing. First, he says happy. Who's happy? One who fears Hashem. Why is he happy if he fears Hashem? Because if he fears Hashem, that means he knows who He is. If he knows who Hashem is, that means he believes in Him. If he believes in Him, of course he's going to fear Him. And that means he's going to be happy. If you have a connection with Hashem, you have to be happy. And what is the second thing it says? The commandments that Hashem has, if you fear Hashem and you connect to Hashem, of course you're going to want to do it. Of course you're going to want to do mitzvot. Of course you want to do tefillin. Of course you want to be more modest. Of course you want to keep Shabbat. Do everything. Because you fear Hashem. Because if you fear Hashem, you connect to Him. And then you can get to the point of loving Him. Then you would even know, once you get to a point of fearing Him, of course you're going to love Him. Because once you connect to Him through fear, you see how much He does for you, and of course you're going to love Him. If someone's giving you a reward every day, and you don't know it, every day you check your bank online, I have $6,000. Next day, I have $12,000. Next day, I have $100,000. You don't know where it's coming from. Every day is more money. Every day is more money. You don't know where it's coming from. It's like, oh, wow, it's great. HaShaem, I don't know. One day you get an email. Hey, by the way, the $1 million I put in your account, it was me. Signed, Hashem. Wow. HaShaem. Now you know who it is. But before you knew, you didn't say thank you to anything. It's like, oh, okay, that's nice. I have more money in my account. I'm such a lucky guy. But if you fear Hashem, you're going to connect to Him. You connect to Him, of course you're going to love Him. אשרי אדם מפחד תמיד, ומקשה ליבו ייפול ברעה. Praiseworthy, this is from Shlomo HaMelech, this is in Mishle, Proverbs. Praiseworthy is the man who always fears. But he who is stubborn of heart will fall into misfortune. We only have a couple of minutes left. Shlomo HaMelech, for anyone who doesn't know, was the smartest man of all time. Hashem gave him a special gift. When he was 12 years old, when he got the Malchut, He gave him a gift that you're going to be the smartest man of all time. All the Chokhmah. I'm not talking about smart, he just knew math. Or he just knew science. He knew the languages of the birds, of the animals, of the shedim. I mean, things that you can't even imagine. They ask, how come, if he was so smart, how come he didn't make cars? Why? We continue with horses? Why didn't he make televisions? What? He wasn't smart enough? Maybe somebody today was smarter. No. He actually already saw the outcome of it. Who is smart, according to Pirkei Avot? The one who sees what's born. He saw the outcome of it. He saw the outcome of cars, the outcome of television, the outcome of the iPad. And he says more bad's going to come of it than good. Better to stay without it. So Shlomo HaMelech, so smart, we should learn something from him. He says praiseworthy, meaning he is giving respect to whoever who always fears Hashem. Always. Always scared. What do you mean always scared? Why do you want to be scared all the time? Because if you're always scared, that means you're scared of the one, not scared of people. You're not allowed to be scared of people. According to Torah, you're not allowed to be scared of people. Even if you have a knife to your neck, you're not allowed to be scared. Why? If you're scared, that means you have chosar emunah. You have not enough emunah. Not allowed to be scared. But of Hashem, you have to be scared. Why? Because that's the only way you're going to believe in Him. And if you believe in Him, of course you're going to love Him. He's doing so much for you. And this is how we're going to finalize the point we talked about in the beginning of the shiur about two things. One is Mashiach, and two, what can we do about it? Every day in Shachrit, we all read one of the Tehillim. It says, "Uva leTzion Goel u'leshaveh pesha v'Yaakov neum Adonai." He's talking about the Mashiach is going to come to turn the people away from sin and in essence punish the ones who sin. The ones that are tzaddikim, the Mashiach is going to come to save them. The ones who are HaShaem, not so much. We read this every day. Goel is the Mashiach. It's not me. It's Mashiach. Pesha, you know what Pesha is, right? Sin. And he's not talking about, some people say, no, he's just going to punish the Goyim, the HaShaem, the Arabs is going to punish. No. He's not talking about the Goyim. He's saying, Pesha b'Yaakov. Who means Yaakov? Israel. Yaakov, his other name was what? Israel. The sin of Am Israel is coming. He's not talking about the Goyim. Goyim, of course, is going to take care of them. Don't worry. That's another business. But he's talking about us. He's talking about us if we don't have Yirat Shamayim. You don't have Yirat Shamayim, you don't connect to Hashem, you don't want the Mashiach to come. You got to do tshuva. You have Yirat Shamayim, you want him to come tomorrow. So he's saying, David HaMelech is reminding us of this every morning. We just read it like, oh, Bak Tzion Goel, we sing it like it's fun. We don't realize what we're reading. We just came back from the beach on Shabbat. Riu Baal Tzion Goel. Baal Tzion Goel. You have a problem, my friend. You just came back from the beach on Shabbat. Baal Tzion Goel is not a good idea for you. Do tshuva. If you do tshuva, then the Gemara Masechet Sotah also has another answer for you. Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mishum Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, אמר להן הקדוש ברוך הוא לישראל, אפילו לא קיימתם אלא קריאת שמע שחרית וערבית, אי אתם נמסרים בידם. Rabbi Yochanan said in the name of Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai, the Holy One, blessed is He, Hashem, is saying to Israel, even if you have not fulfilled any mitzvah, but the recitation of Shema Yisrael, which you have to do in the morning and at night, and also Kriyat Shema Lifnei Amitah, you will not be delivered into their hands. He's not talking about it's all the thing you need to do, and don't misunderstand me. It's not that the only thing you need to do in Judaism is just Kriyat Shema. He's saying if you have Hashem in your life, in the morning and at night, and you connect through Him, you have nothing to worry about in a war. He's talking about a war. Right now, this is during a time of war. He's talking about the Kohanim, and there was a special instructions of what the Kohanim would say before the war, giving all the soldiers the strength and the courage. If you were scared, you weren't allowed to go to war. Before they went to war, the Kohanim would ask, anybody scared? Anybody raise their hand? Go home. Not allowed to fight. Why? Because you're going to get us killed if you're scared. If you're scared, that means you don't believe in Hashem. Someone scared doesn't believe in Hashem. Might as well call themselves atheist. Because you think you're winning the war. You think that the Iron Dome is going to win the war. You think that Tzahal is going to win the war. Maybe America is going to help us. Someone believes that, maybe he doesn't believe in Hashem. These are only tools that Hashem can or cannot use. Maybe he wants to, maybe not. To think that we have to depend on mankind to win the war is mamash. You have to consider whether you're sane or not, because we can't. The only way to win is with Hashem. So that's why the Kohen would say to them, if you have fear, that means you have choser emunah. You have not enough emunah. We don't want you. You're going to get us killed. We need people that are tzaddikim to fight, not half-half. And even if you didn't even do all of the mitzvot, but you did Kriyat Shema, you had Hashem as part of your life, in the morning and through the night, you have nothing to worry about. And the only way to have Hashem in your life, from morning to night, on a daily basis, is to start by recognizing who He is, which means fearing Hashem. And eventually, Be'ezrat Hashem, we all will reach the level of Yirat Shamayim and then Ahavat Hashem.